The Colts had their rookie minicamp this weekend. Let's hear from General Manager Chris Ballard on Kwity Paye, their first-round draft pick.
Couldn't be more excited. Look, I've made some pretty easy picks where you just knew, when you pulled the card, it was an easy pull, and pulling the card of Kwity Paye was very easy. Stands for everything we want to stand for. He's in a position of, that we all know is important, a defensive end. We think he's got really big upside. We think he's going to continue to get better, and he's going to add to our front.
Now that the Colts have Carson Wentz and they feel very good about him, that defense has been improving. The offensive line is great. They're just a team that is just kind of there. Right? There's just this, and it feels like they're so close to popping through, and maybe a guy like Kwity Paye helps make the difference. Carson Wentz is going to be a huge factor. But, Chris Ballard's done a great job with that team. The results haven't shown themselves by way of postseason. They're still kind of gathering themselves after the Andrew Luck abrupt retirement in late August of 2019. But I feel like they're closer and closer, not quite to getting back to what they were in the heyday of Peyton Manning, but maybe starting along a path that will get them to the point of consistent contention.
I'm with you. I agree with that. I mean, went to the playoffs this year. Right? I mean,
that's right. That's right. But even then, they went to the playoffs. They gave the Bills everything they could handle, and they're still kind of like,
you're kind of they weren't really like blinking on the radar. I know what you mean. Yeah, you're right. There was a little bit of that aspect missing from their team where we thought like they were a legit like scary contender. But yeah, the Andrew Luck thing threw a curveball. But at the same time, I think you're right, Mike. I mean, the Colts, like opposite of like the Raiders, I think there's a few things to talk about on their team where you just go, man, that's pretty special what they got there. First off, their offensive line, it's special, yes. I mean, Carson Wentz, we know what he can do when healthy and things like that. The skill position guys, pretty good. Running backs, good. I mean, defensive line, pretty damn special. And now you got a Kwity Paye to come off the edges. Really, the only issue on their team was like lack of edge threat. And Kwity Paye and even their second pick, Odeyingbo from Vanderbilt, are both edge rushing type of football players. So they're really rounding out the roster, right, Mike? And I just look at them. I'm with you. I look at it and just go, wait, this team is really good. They're like edge Super Bowl window type of football team. And now does Carson Wentz, with a Kwity Paye, kind of put them over the edge to where we start off early in 2021 going, no, like we thought the Colts were on the edge of the Super Bowl window. They're in the window. Like they're that kind of team. And I have a feeling we could be saying that about them, 4 or 5 weeks into the year.
And it is amazing to think how differently we feel about the Colts if they had beaten the Bills. And they did give the Bills everything they could handle. And I wonder whether or not Phillip Rivers would have stayed around for one more year. I mean, there's an alternate history gurgling around out there involving the Colts, but they may be better off long-term with Carson Wentz if Wentz becomes, again, the guy that he was when Frank Reich was in Philadelphia, the guy that Frank Reich believes he can be. That's really the key to this team, this gamble they've made on Carson Wentz. The guy we don't think about when we talk about this trend of quarterbacks pushing their way out of situations they don't like, because the Eagles didn't really like it either. But Wentz wanted out, he got out, and he gets this fresh start. And it's just one of these teams. The Bills last year were that team that kind of slapped us in the face early in the year and let us know that they were going to be serious contenders all year long. Right. I feel like the Colts could do that, depending upon, and this is why the schedule is so important, depending upon the games you get right out of the break, right out of the gates. What games can you get that maybe you can get win and build some confidence with your new quarterback? That's going to be key as well for the Colts.
A key, right? I mean, we've talked about that the last 3 years. The hell with the whole schedule. It's just like, let's look at those first 3 or 4 weeks to what you're talking about, to where can you come out of that going, wait, we did some positives and we can build on it, and now we can go, instead of being maybe 1-3 or, something like that, to now it's panic, and it's like one more loss and it's really panic. I'm with you, though, Mike. I think they're one of those teams, too, like the Bills last year, where, you go, hey, they're a playoff team from last year. They're good, but I think they got the potential to be pretty damn special when you kind of break it all down. It's a top 10 defense in football. Now they got a legit difference maker on the edge. The offensive side of the ball It's always been flirting around the top 10 and doing all of that. And now you got a quarterback who can stretch the field. Like, let's not forget about that. Phillip Rivers was good last year, but there was games and moments where his lack of arm strength and the ability to push the ball down the field hurt their football team. It hurt Frank Reich in the fact where he's a master at finding like these 15 and 20-yard completions with his great game planning and his creative offense and everything he does that way. And that was kind of compromised a little bit because people knew, like, man, Phillip Rivers, he ain't going to throw it past 35 or 40 yards. And that shrunk the field a little bit. Not going to be able to do that with Carson Wentz. I think it'll make the offense look a little bit more dangerous with him at the helm this year.
You know, it's funny. Last week, Eric DeCosta, the Ravens GM, told me that the first thing he looks at when he gets the schedule, the games in December, the stretch run. And I think an established team can do that.
Yeah, right.
When you're trying to get your bearings, when you're testing out a quarterback that flamed out, whatever it is, when you have a big change, I think the easier the early season schedule, the better chance you have to get everyone in the locker room to say, okay, I get it. I understand why you went to get Carson Wentz. I understand why you hired Robert Saleh to be the coach. I understand why you made Zach Wilson the second overall pick. And it really does set the tone for the season. If you can get off to a great start, you can become a great team when maybe you weren't a great team when the year began. So we'll find all that out Wednesday night for every team. Where will the soft spots be? And some of them need those soft spots to come early.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.